Welcome back to Breakdown and a line-out masterclass we have for you with the master of the line-outs, Victor Matfield. I'm going to be throwing the questions, but before we get into the analysis, before we look at some clips and talk about the ins and outs of the line-outs, Victor, in your opinion, what is the most important thing of the line-out for us to think about?
Yeah, I must say, I think when you talk about line-out, and people probably won't think that, it's probably planning. I think whenever you go into a game, you must have a game plan. Like in rugby, with any defensive line-out, there's strengths and there's weaknesses, and you've got to understand that. And if you understand the weakness of the way the guys contest, then you'll probably be able to win close to 100% of your own ball.
Well, I guess we've got to start then at the setup and the calling, which is really, really important. I'm going to take a couple of clips of you actually doing the calling for the Blues. I want us to talk about what you're actually talking about when we're going through these scenarios. Firstly, against Crusaders.
Now, as you walk up, you firstly have to have a look. How will they contest in the line-out? And here, the Crusaders are mirroring. So whenever a team do a man watch or a mirror, then it's always action beats reaction. So if you can move faster than them, then you can out-jump them. Here's a defensive line-out. Here we actually went with a pot system, or there we changed to the man watch. So each guy's looking at his own guy, just doing whatever they do. And if they do their line-out 100%, you're in trouble. But if they make a little mistake, you can be there and you can put the ball under pressure.
So when we talk about the analysis, when we talk about the setup of the line-out, let's go back to the very, very basics. What are you wanting your lifters firstly to do? Who should be on the mark first? And then what should the sequence happens from
I think the first thing in a line-out is space. You have to, a lot of people think if you want to win a line-out is to get to the top. I think you win a line most of the time on the ground. So whenever you set up, I don't know if you can have a look at my feet. You actually want some space in front of you. If you can get a meter in front of you and a meter behind you, then you almost got 2.5 meters to play with. If you set up and the guy's right here next to you about 10 centimeters and the guy's right behind you, then you don't have any space. Then there's only one way to beat you, and it's straight up. So the first thing I always think is give yourself space. Now I can beat you to the top.
I'll stop you there because you've just turned inwards. A lot of people back in the day in New Zealand, and the way I would jump would turn side on. So my inside shoulder's pointing on a 45 degrees so I can get in front, I can dictate and I can control on balance. You're facing inwards. Why is that?
You get different styles. Whenever I get guys, let's say I've got a pot with me, so I've got my two players close by, then I'll be front on as well. Because I'm quicker here, I can move from here, I can go straight up. When we're going almost into a split in the line-out, then I go side on, because remember, I have to be able to move as well. So I'm a lifter as well. I'm not just a jumper. Like in the old days, a lot of the time, you were just a jumper.
Yes.
So for me to go from here and lift takes a long time. Well, if I'm here, it's much quicker, and then I've got a lot more space to use as well.
So the ball's everything in rugby, right? And the way I used to think about line-outs, and correct me if I'm wrong, I need the hooker on the mark first. If the hooker's there and the ball's ready, then you can control things. If he's not there, the opposition starts to control things because they can set up. Is that the sequence you like, or how do you...
Yeah, I must say, I always like the hooker there. I think with New Zealand, they always want the quicker the line out, the better for them. So I know that's how they want they want the ball in and out. Sometimes I'll delay it. I'll give myself time to have a look at what the opposition does, and that will give me a time as well. But it's always nice if your hooker is there. If they're not ready to contest, then you're away before they can be ready.
OK, of course, Victor, the line is you jumping, competing and winning your own ball. You want to do 100% of the time. We're going to also run a couple of clips on the big screen as well of you winning some line-out ball. I want to talk about what you're doing, what jump you're actually going for here.
If you go through here, you can see they do kind of a man watch, a mirroring. So the thing is, their action beats reaction. If you look at him, he had a look at me. So I saw the throw first. So as the throw went, I went, and he had to react to what I did. So if the throw is 100% same there, he'll always be close, but he'll always be 10 centimeters just behind me.
Once again, here's you. We'll highlight you in the middle. So straight up. So by what Victor means by action always beats reaction, if he gets up in the air quicker, the reactor, the defending line-out man, which is going to be me in this situation, is always going to be behind you. That's what you want to do. Get yourself in the air as quickly as you can. Have you got a jumping style technique that gets you up in the air quick?
No, I just think it's all about the space again. You have to be able to, in one step, get a meter forward. You have to get, in one step, a meter back. A lot of the people, if they want to jump, let's say, a meter in front of them, they take about 2-3 steps. and that takes time. So everything is about time. Time you move, time up to the highest point where you can get. So time is, if you can cut down on time, then you don't give as much time to for the opposition to contest you.
Okay, we've got another fantastic clip. I think this is you versus the Sharks. Oh no, this is defensive line out, of course, which is another real strength of your game.
Yeah, we went a different style. We went almost a pot. And I started in front, almost showed them the gap behind me, and as they got ready, I just moved into the gap. Here against, we're not man-watching. I've got a pot with me, so I showed them the front. As they got ready, I moved to it, and I remember this. Kieran said, no, and then I just came back. So it's almost just moving around, them not knowing where I'm going to go up.
And one final one, this one after you've beaten Kieran Reid versus the Sharks.
Yeah, against Kieran, just moving around. Yeah, against the Sharks, they go a pot system, so they don't man watch you. So if they got only 2 pots, we've got 5 jumpers, so somewhere it must be open. But again, it's about time. They like to move around, so you don't want to have a long call that goes 3, 4, and they can shift around, and then, oh damn, I called something that's open, now they moved, now you're in trouble. So the quicker you can get to a point, the better it will go against that line.
Victor, quite simply for people out there, when they're communicating with, firstly on your throw with a hooker and then the 2 lifters, so you're involving 5 people in the line-outs, what's the simplest form of communication to involve all of those people doing the same thing together?
Yeah, I think it's just, again, it's training a lot in the week. We change our calling system every week, so we know that other team won't pick it up as well. And then it needs to be as short as possible because, like I said, if it's too long, people can move, they can run around, and while you're making the call, they change, and then certain things won't be on that was on like half a second ago.
Okay, thanks very much, Victor Matfield. That is absolutely gold. That is a masterclass on line-outs.
So what we hope you will get out of this webinar, you could simply just copy the lineouts and have a complete system or playbook for your team if that's something you're looking to do. You could get some bits and pieces, you know, maybe one particular lineout or one area of a lineout. You might get some ideas, you might see something and it might spark an idea in your mind, which you can develop and adapt to your own team and levels at which you coach at. But the plan is to not overload you. Often we try and include too much information and it overwhelms people who are trying to absorb that information, and basically most of it gets rejected.